Okay, so this is my first real hive inspection manipulation. A little late in coming because I've only just got my bee suit, so I'm fairly excited about what's going on. Because it's a little late, I'm expecting some not real good things in there. There's probably a little bit of cross combing, and I hope to get as many combs nice and straight that I can, so that the preceding manipulations are a lot quicker and it helps the bees out. Got a little spray with water and sugar in it to calm the bees down instead of upsetting them with a smoker. What do you reckon? Here we go, here goes nothing. Now the whole point is I want to check the whole hive if I can. I want to put a few more bars in to give them a bit of room, because I'm making another hive at the moment, and I'll be splitting this one up in two so that I can then have two hives, and I'm going to place another hive down at John McKeering's place. Okay. Really the whole point of a manipulation is to make sure, one, there's no diseases in the hive, and two, if there's real excess of honey, you can grab some comb, which is always good. And three, you probably want to, which I haven't done yet, and you probably want to just get the bees used to being handled a little bit. So I'm also expecting these bees to be a lot more aggressive than the last time I have taken combs out of there and taken the top bar off of a couple of different ones without a suit on, and they didn't worry, but the whole colony was much smaller than it was. They had a lot less to defend back then, so I'm expecting they're going to get a little upset today. Now what I've found pretty well straight away is there's a whole line of cross comb going out the back of my hive, and I've just broken some of that. It's got a huge attachment onto that board right there, which is called a follower board. There's two follower boards in this hive, either edge, and when you put the extra top bars in, you just widen the follower boards until the hive's fairly full. So this is a great reason why I should have inspected the hive in the first week, and probably with the new hive twice a month, just to make sure that there was no cross combing on the new combs. I could have picked that up and there wouldn't have been a trouble at this stage. This hive is probably about 4 months old, so there's going to be some cross combing big time in there. And straight off the bat I found the queen bee. Unfortunately, right on the side of the hive, the queen normally lays her eggs in the brood combs are nearest to the entrance, and the entrance is the other side, a couple of holes through the wall of the attic. And one of the reasons my new hive that I'm making, the entrance holes are going to be in the end plates. So the brood is up the front of the hive, and the honey can be found out the back of the hive, because when you're harvesting honey, you don't want any brood in it. Eggs and larvae don't taste that nice, and you feel like a bit of a mass murderer. So that was the end bar that I just inspected. It was a bar that's been in there for 4 days. They've started making comb on it. It's not cross combing. It looks pretty good. I just put it back onto the end of the hive there next to the follower to give myself another 4 inches of room to look at the next hive. Just opening the door to view through the window wall of this hive that I've put in to see if there's any attachments on the side of this next comb. If there's attachments on the side of the comb, you need to get your knife or trusty hive tool and cut them off the side wall of the hive. so that your comb will lift out nice and easy and it won't damage the comb and pull it off the top bar. If you can imagine, your comb is hanging down from the top bar there, and that's where it's supposed to be attached, and that's where it's only supposed to be attached. So you want to cut it off in an upwards motion so that you don't pull it away from the top bar or put it under stress of any way. I was quite surprised when I lifted this particular bar because it weighs around about 10 kilos. You wouldn't believe it's probably 1.5 inches wide, and it's just chock-a-block, and it's really hefty. So the attachment onto the top bar is really crucial. You don't want to lift that whole comb out and all of a sudden it going splat all over the floor. Angry bees everywhere. Try again to lift the bar, but it still feels like it's attached. So you want to be gentle. Grab a knife again, just try to grab some of those attachments. Generally the attachments are on the top half of the hive there, because they like to leave this space on the bottom and they don't attach it hopefully to the bottom of the hive, so the bees can use those bottom areas as tunnels to get to the back of the hive. Now give it another try to pick it up and wobble it a bit. Now what the story was with this comb, they were pretty terrible cross combing, attaching probably 5 or 6 combs in there behind the window there. So it's going to be a pretty ugly sort of a situation to first chop that cross combing out. It's at the back of the hive. I get my spray and spray those bees. They're getting a bit angry. So I've cut the cross comb out. I've had to let it go on the bottom of the hive. I'll grab it later by hand or pull it out some way that I can. Inspect this this little comb. This comb isn't actually complete. It's a honeycomb, this one, and it's around about only 10% capped, and meaning that 90% of it isn't capped. It's basically full of nectar, or filling up with nectar, and the bees re-eat it and then regurgitate it around about 100 times, which ferments it in the process and also hydrates it, gets rid of most of its moisture content. So it goes down to about 16% of moisture and then it gets capped. You might have heard honey referred to as bee spew, and that's exactly why. And it all looks pretty good, so I'll throw it back in the hive to the left hand side and keep on going forward. Bees are getting pretty angry at this stage, so I'll hit them with another bit of spray. A little bit of sugar and water to keep their minds occupied on something sticky while I'm doing the deal. Now this next comb that I found was mostly capped honey. I later found a little bit of brood in there, which wasn't great, but yeah, it was mostly capped honey. So I brushed off the bees and had another look at and decided to cut it into my little bucket. Just cutting about 20 mil shy of the top bar, so you leave a little bit of a wax foundation there for their next comb. Now what I found with the next couple of combs, this cross combing out the back of the hive is just a bit too extensive to keep going at the moment. I've aggravated the bees quite enough. I'm just going to grab a camera and get a close-up for mate, so he can give me a bit of coaching on what I should do for it. But before I do that, I'm just going to reach in and grab a little bit of that cross combing on the bottom. It's fallen on the bottom of the hive there. Have a look at it. I've actually found a little one little moth there. It's not too bad. I've seen maybe 2 moths in this hive. Cross combing in different sections. So I think we might leave it at that. I'll close the hive up, let them have a breath. I'll have a breath, and we'll open it up another day and try to deal with that cross combing. So until my next video, I'll see you later.